You ever wonder why nobody is buying electrical vehicles anymore? Well, it looks like we have the answer now, and also want to kind of cover today on the video about the new tariffs that President Biden has enacted. So first of all, when we talk about electrical vehicles, there's so many different companies that are trying to come out with the electrical vehicles. You have Ford, you have GM, you have Hyundai, you have also the more niche companies. So you have the Rivians, you have Teslas, of course. And then you have even further than that, you have the Polestars, you have Fiskers. And in fact, I was actually reading an article this morning that Fisker is shutting down one of their manufacturing facilities, and they're moving a lot of their employees back over to another facility in Orange County. So relocating out of Huntington Beach. And it was a 72,000 square foot facility they had there. And I'm guessing it just has a lot to do with them cost cutting and trying to save some money, because I mean, man, Fisker has just been on a horrible path lately. And it makes a lot of sense because the demand for these cars is so low. And say hi, Amy.
Hi.
We're on a walk today, and I had to make this video for you guys because, again, here around in Florida, we do see a lot of EVs, but not as much as you would see in California, or even, I have to ask you, in New Jersey, up where you're from and up north. Do people drive a lot of electrical vehicles?
Not when I lived there, no. I left in 2020, but no.
So basically, I feel like they're just not, the demand on them is very low. Not a lot of people really want to drive electrical vehicles in the first place. But then you also have a big supply issue. You have just so many different companies that are making them. But I want to talk about Fisker specifically because their stock was actually just taken off of the New York Stock Exchange. They were delisted because just a string of bad events. I mean, first of all, you have them losing deals with other major companies that wanted to work with them, and a lot of their deals are falling through. They're starting to violate some of their investment agreements. Just not good stuff. And their ability to secure financing is horrible right now too. So I read that recently they were able to secure a short-term loan of a little over $1 million. But that's about it. And I mean, the company is in serious financial trouble. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of these EV companies failing. You know, you also have the Lucids. You have all of these different companies that are in big trouble. And so this is where it ties into the tariffs that President Biden signed just recently. If you guys haven't seen these new tariffs, go check them out, right? Go read all the details on them. And I'll put a little link, a little article down below that you guys can check out too. Now, the reason we got to talk about these tariffs is because specifically for electrical vehicles, there is a 100% tax on electrical vehicles from China. So even though Chinese companies make pretty good electrical cars, I've seen some videos on Instagram and stuff of what these cars out of China look like. They actually look a lot better than the American ones, I'm not gonna lie. But there's now a 100% tax on those vehicles when they come into the United States. And, I was watching when President Biden actually signed these tariffs and put them into law, and he just looked so happy about it, bragging about these tariffs and how we're gonna stick it to the Chinese people, right? That's not what's gonna happen at all, because again, the tariffs are what we have to pay. We have to pay the higher prices. They have to charge more for the cars. And so that's gonna be horrible for these inflation numbers, which is the main concern right now. It's the main focus is, how do we get the inflation numbers lower? Well, if we have these tariffs, especially on the EVs that are 100%, that's double in price, then that's not gonna be very helpful at all. Now, you have some of the American electrical vehicle makers, like I said. You have the Fiskers, which are doing horrible financially. They can't secure any financing or anything like that. Deals are falling through. They're relocating employees to other facilities and shutting down things that they don't need to try to cut costs. It's just looking terrible for companies like that. And then, of course, Rivian, also another company where their stock price is down 50% in the last year for similar reasons. They're struggling, right? And it's not just the smaller ones. I mean, I feel bad for the small companies because they don't have a lot of other avenues to go down. But then you look at, you know, the bigger companies that are also making EVs, Ford, GM, I don't know why I'm blanking on the Stellantis. I don't know how I almost forgot that. Stellantis, I'm sure they're making a bunch of EVs too. I mean, they got Stellantis owns Jeep, Chrysler. Do they own Maserati? Stuff like that. They might even own Mini Cooper. So I definitely see those bigger companies, though, although they're making EVs, they also have all kinds of other cars. So if they lose money on the EVs, they can make money on the other gas-powered cars that are already really popular and the ones that people actually want. So a great example of this is Ford and their Ford Lightning, which is like the electric truck that they make. You know, nobody is buying that. Nobody wants a Ford Lightning. Just to be honest, nobody wants that. They can't even move them. But the F-150, the gas-powered F-150 is the most popular. It's the highest selling car in America. It just is. So the problem is that if they're losing a bunch of money on these Lightnings, then they're gonna have to really jack up the price of these F-150s. So if I were to make an EV play, I wanna talk about investing now. And how does this all tie into the stock market? How can we make money off of this, right? That's what my channel is about, is I talk about news and it's total no BS news. And again, I just make these videos out on our walks. You know, we come out here and do walks every day anyways. So I started making videos and just talking to you guys because then it's just no BS, no editing, no intros, just raw thoughts and opinions. And I love to see your guys' comments down below. And by the way, I've been really enjoying reading your guys' comments and I love getting them. So please continue to do that down below because I want to hear your guys' thoughts on EVs and everything around that. You want to turn around? All right, so we turn around. I want to talk about how to tie this all into the stock market and where to go with investing. So in my opinion, I think that Tesla could be a very attractive buy based on all of this. I'm gonna tell you why in just a moment. But I know that currently today is, what is today, May 18th?
Yeah.
May 18th, perfect, I nailed it. So it's May 18th, and Tesla is currently trading at about 170. Can you actually look up the current market price for me, please? TSLA. I believe it's about 170 to 175 per share right now. We'll take a look in just a sec. But it's 177.46. Okay, so I don't really want to buy it unless it's under 150. So hopefully the price can come down a little bit more in the short term. But as I've been saying kind of in the past, I don't know if I've ever put this into a video or not, but I think anywhere between $100 and $150 a share for Tesla is great. And I'll tell you why I like Tesla as an EV play in the stock market is because you've basically got Tesla sitting on what are called carbon credits. Okay, so obviously these automakers are regulated by the government, and more specifically the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, to make sure that they're not emitting a certain amount of greenhouse gases, right? So you have to have these carbon credits in order to emit. And if you need to purchase more of those carbon credits, they can buy them off of other companies like Tesla, right? Tesla has a lot of carbon credits. And so an automaker like Ford, who's struggling to sell the Lightning and might need more carbon credits to sell more F-150s, I could totally see Tesla making a ton of money on these carbon credits. So I think that is a huge opportunity for them. And again, Tesla doesn't have to do anything to make these carbon credits. There's no manufacturing. There's none of that. There's no labor, none of that stuff. It's basically just selling them at a profit, and they get to keep all that money. So that's why I think in many ways, in many cases, that Tesla could be a huge winner. And of course, they have a lot more going for them than just electrical cars. That is why Tesla, in my opinion, is the king of EVs, because it's not just a car company. People who think Tesla's a car company are missing the point of Tesla. They're a data company and they're a battery company. That's what they're most well known for. And then they also sell cars, you know. But they also have AI technology. They have the full self-driving technology, which was just fully approved in China as well, which is a huge step for them. That's a massive change in fundamentals and a whole new market that they can now attack. That was pretty insane news when that came out. So I think that that is also a really good sign. So that paired with the carbon credits and all the other stuff that I think they have going for them in terms of battery technology and charging technology throughout the United States and other parts of the world as well. I think that they have the potential. They are set up to do really well, and their ability to innovate and create things that people want, and the demand that they have on these types of vehicles is so much higher than other types of vehicles as well. Now, one issue we do have to address with Tesla is the price cuts. You know, all these other automakers, the Fords, the GMs, they're okay with losing money on EVs. That's been very, very clear. They've been doing that for a while. So they're losing money on the EVs, and that's just considered normal, right? They're just doing that as part of their business plan. But what it's also doing is pressuring Tesla to bring the prices down. And so as Tesla has continued to slash prices, just go look at the amount of price cuts that Tesla has done over the years to try to adapt to this market. It's pretty wild. But the crazy thing is despite all those price cuts, they had pretty disappointing earnings, and the deliveries for the last quarter were really not where they should have been. So what does that tell you? Even though prices are coming down, typically we see demand coming up when prices come down. Well, if that's not happening, if prices are coming down and demand is not going up, then you have a big issue, right? And I think that's one of the big things people were most concerned about with Tesla's earnings. Now, during the last earnings report that Tesla had, the stock still went up. Why? Because Elon Musk said, yes, we are going to be making even lower cost models. We're going to make new types of cars that people can afford, kind of under the $30,000 range. And there was many news articles saying that they were going to scrap that plan. And Elon Musk pretty much came out and made the earnings call about how the media was lying and how it was fake news and that whole thing that he does because he doesn't like the media. So anyways, in terms of an EV play, I like Tesla. I think it's a little bit overpriced right now. If it were to come down to about 100 to 150 a share, that's pretty much my sweet spot for it. I actually did buy it at about 150 the last time it was down there, maybe about a month or two ago. And it did pop on the earnings and I sold it for a profit. But I would want to get back in if it comes back down below 150. So that's kind of the plan right there. And again, if you guys want more, you know, you guys want to see my portfolio, you guys want to see my watch list each day, that's where I recommend you guys check out my online investment club. The link is down below in the description if you guys want to check that out. But it's perfect if you're a beginner or somebody who's just starting out and wants to learn more about the stock market. Okay, I'm going to continue to give you guys the news and give you guys updates, completely uncut, completely unfiltered, very minimal editing, because again, I just want to talk to you guys from the heart. But if you guys want to learn more and you guys want to be able to work more closely with me, where I can kind of teach you guys the strategies that I use. By the way, on Friday, my portfolio hit another all-time high, which this has been a great year for us. So we've been getting wealthier and wealthier, which is awesome. And I want to see you guys doing the same. You guys should be taking advantage of these markets. And that's what I show you how to do in the online investment club. So if you guys are new and want to learn more about that and how you can also do the same, I would definitely check out the links down below in the description. Anyways, leave me some comments. Tell me what you guys think about this EV situation we have here in the United States and what's been going on with all these manufacturers. Do you think a lot of them are going to fail? Do you think Tesla's going to end up on top? You tell me down below, and I want to see what you guys say. All right, see you in the next video.